You're about to meet one of the most extraordinary undercover agents in the history of the FBI. For 26 years, Jack Garcia transformed himself into over 100 different identities. But his greatest role was when he conned the mob into believing he was Jack Falcone and infiltrated the Gambino crime family. Garcia has written a book called Making Jack Falcone, published by Simon & Schuster, a CBS sister company. And Jack Garcia is with us live in the studio this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Harry.
Amazing piece on 60 Minutes last night. You think they did a good job?
I think they did an exceptional job, yes.
All right. Well, I want to follow up on some of that. And for those who did not see the piece, explain who Falcone was. What were you trying to do?
Jack Falcone was an individual that was created in order to infiltrate the Gambino crime family. It was one where I was asked whether I'd be interested in taking on this role about these particular gangsters, not only Albanian gangsters, but also Gambino crime soldiers that were shaking down a lot of establishments up in the Bronx, Westchester area.
So how do you learn how to become Jack Falcone?
Well, it was a difficult task for me. With the many undercover experiences that I've had in my career, this was a unique one, in as much as that I would be infiltrating the mob and dealing with actual mob members. So the FBI and my handler decided to create this so-called mob school, where I kind of learned the process of what the mob is more about and how I go about infiltrating.
Different little idiosyncrasies. They showed the thing last night where you took the little rubber band from the broccoli and you put it around your cash roll. Different little telltale signs that would show you really were one of these guys.
That's correct. That I was a knockaround guy, and I also had to create a legend or a pedigree in order to, we knew we were going to be subjected to a lot of scrutiny.
Absolutely.
So I had to make sure that whatever identity I created, that it had to be airtight.
Right. How much danger were you in?
There's always danger in all kinds of undercover work. I mean, that could be that one time where they may find a wire on you that you're wearing. Or there may be that time somebody recognizes you. But in my particular, it was a double danger, because in as much as that I could be made as possibly an agent because of the way I looked and I carried myself, I was hoping if I was ever made, that I'd be made as an agent as opposed to an informant.
Right.
Because the fate of an informant, of course, is exactly.
It's a death sentence. The whole extraordinary story is in this book. You not only do this, you assumed all these other identities for all these other cases. And you even say your daughter didn't know what your real name was?
Yes. My daughter, who is 8 years old now, when I was making reservations while I was working all these cases, like I outlined in my book, I had 5 cases that were going simultaneously as I was working the mob case. I was 2 in Atlantic City, 1 in Miami, and I would make reservations. So I would put it on speakerphone, and of course the reservation person would ask, what is your name? And then I would give a different name. And then, so one day my daughter came up to me, goes, Daddy, what is your name? You know, so I looked at her and I said, don't worry about it, sweetheart. All you have to know is Daddy.
How much adrenaline is involved in this? Were you just high as a kite trying to run these scams on these mobsters?
It is an adrenaline rush, but it's one that you have to take to make sure it's calculated. I mean, make sure that you don't make that one mistake.
Yeah.
But it is, for me, it's an enjoyable thing to be there with the criminal, with the bad guy, collecting the evidence that we in the FBI need to prosecute.
Yeah.
It's an unbelievable rush.
You end up face-to-face with this lord of the Gambino crime family right in the courtroom.
That is correct.
What was that like?
That was interesting. I mean, I've hung out with him for quite some time. We were kind of attached at the hip, and the time I had to testify against him, and he being such a hardcore mobster that decided to go to court, he gave me the eyes, and we looked at each other. But hey, like I said, in the 60-minute piece, I'm the good guy here. I have nothing to be ashamed for what I did, and shame on him.
You're retired from the FBI now.
That's correct.
Right? You're in the security business.
That is correct. Yeah.
Whatever that means. What is life like for you? Do you walk down the streets of New York or suburban New York? Do you look over your shoulder? Do you look under your car when you get in? Do you live in fear?
Yeah, well, you can't live in fear because otherwise they win. As far as being cautious, of course I'm cautious. I mean, not only do I have to deal with the Gambinos, but I have to deal with all the cartels, the Colombian cartels that I put away as well. But it's just part of doing our business, and that's our job. And sure, it's fearful at times, but I don't do anything stupid. Let's just leave it at that.
All right, Jack, great to meet you.
Oh, great to meet you.
What a wonderful story, what an amazing story. And it's all in the book, Making Jack Falcone, an undercover FBI agent takes down a mafia family. What a pleasure to meet you.
Likewise.